Take a look at this house. It's valued at around $400,000. It sits quietly in a pleasant Colorado neighborhood, good schools, safe streets, the kind of place where kids ride bikes and neighbors wave hello. On the surface, it's the ideal family home. Yet no one wants it. The house has stood vacant for years. Completely empty. No furniture. No life. Just silence. And the reason is what happened inside those walls in August 2018, an event so horrifying that the community still hasn't moved on. A tragedy that made national headlines. A case that, even now, defies understanding. As I began digging deeper, reviewing evidence, interviews, documents, I uncovered details many people overlooked. Details that shift how this entire story is viewed. Are you ready? People often ask why the Chris Watts case refuses to fade from public attention. Why so many still believe it should be reopened. And my answer is always the same. His actions devastated a family and resonated with parents and families across the world. The grief left behind is something we all feel. As human beings, we're driven to understand the depth of that loss and the pain caused by this tragedy. If you want to continue exploring this case thoughtfully and respectfully, seeking answers about Chris Watts and everyone connected to this story, please consider subscribing to this channel. Even when information is difficult to uncover, your support allows me to continue researching and sharing what I find with care. The house is located at 2125 Saratoga Trail, Frederick, Colorado. About 310 square meters, built in 2013. Chris and Shannon bought it for $399,954, and today it's still worth roughly the same. Yet it remains empty. Pause and think about that. It's a beautiful home, in a desirable area, with good schools nearby. In a housing market where properties sell fast, this one has sat unsold for years. Not because of its condition, but because of its past. Under Colorado law, sellers must disclose if a serious crime occurred in a property. This makes it what's known as a stigmatized property. And who would want to live in a place where something so horrific happened? Some argue it's just a house, that tragedy doesn't alter walls or floors. But for most people, it's not that simple. They walk inside and think of Shannon returning home that night. They think of Bella and Celeste asleep in their beds. They imagine what unfolded in those rooms, and they can't go through with it. So the house remains empty. There are other homes like this. Places remembered for all the wrong reasons. Some are torn down, as if erasing the building might erase the memory. It's rumored that Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment met that fate. Others are sold cheaply, usually to investors who see only profit, not history. And some, like this one, are left untouched, waiting. Neighbors have claimed strange things happen nearby. Security cameras capturing unusual movement. Flickering lights. Shifting shadows. I'm not saying I believe in the paranormal, only reporting what people have said. Several potential buyers walked through the house and described the atmosphere as heavy, sad, unsettling. Maybe it's psychological. Maybe knowing the story changes how you feel. Or maybe some places carry the weight of what happened there. I don't know. Now, consider this. If you look at Shannon Watts' Facebook page, you see what appears to be a perfect life. A beautiful home. 2 young daughters. A husband who seemed quiet but loving. Shannon shared everything online. Bella was 4 years old. Celeste, 3, affectionately known as CECE. 2 little girls full of energy and personality. Shannon was also pregnant with a baby boy they planned to name Nico. Her posts showed family trips, beach outings, dinners together. Chris playing with the girls. Shannon expressing gratitude and happiness. But here's the unsettling truth. Social media doesn't always reflect reality. And this was one of those times. While Shannon was posting about happiness and success, things were unraveling behind closed doors, badly. Shannon was working with a multi-level marketing company called Thrive. One of those businesses where you sell wellness products, recruit others, attend conferences, and are promised financial freedom if you work hard enough. That's the promise, at least. In reality, Shannon was constantly working, posting, traveling, recording videos, trying to grow her business non-stop. And behind the curated posts and smiling photos, pressure was building. And the financial pressure was very real. How serious was it? By 2015, just 3 years before everything fell apart, Chris and Shannon had declared bankruptcy. They were carrying roughly $70,000 in debt, their credit cards were maxed out, and unpaid bills were piling up. They had purchased the house in 2013 for close to $400,000. It was large, impressive, over 370 square meters, the kind of home that looked like success. But there was a detail almost no one talks about. The mortgage. The monthly payments were enormous, while their household income was around $3,000 a month. When you do the math, it simply doesn't add up. They were drowning financially. The bank was closing in. And Shannon was fighting to hold everything together, desperately trying to maintain control, to keep up appearances, to make sure everything still looked perfect online. Because that's what many of us do when things are falling apart. We smile wider. We post more. We try to convince everyone, and ourselves, that everything is fine. But someone was watching those videos closely. Someone noticed what Shannon couldn't see. Someone saw what Chris was doing in the background, or more accurately, what he wasn't doing. And that's where this story truly takes a turn. Her name is Nicole Kessinger. For legal reasons, and because she has never been formally charged with a crime, she's often referred to as NK. But her role is central to this story. Without her, events may not have unfolded the way they did. Chris met NK at work. He was employed by Anadarko Petroleum, working in the oil and gas industry, a job he had held for years. He was known as quiet, reliable, and unremarkable, someone who kept his head down and avoided trouble. NK joined the company in the spring of 2018. By June, she and Chris had started talking. Then they began spending time together. Before long, the relationship became romantic. Later, NK told police that Chris claimed he was separated, that his divorce was nearly finalized, and that he was only waiting for paperwork to be completed. He talked about buying a new house together. He made plans. He spoke about their future. And NK believed him. Why wouldn't she? He seemed genuine, a man coming out of a difficult marriage, ready to start over. But there was one major problem. None of it was true. Chris was not separated. There was no divorce in progress. Shannon had no idea he wanted to leave. They were still living together, still sharing a bed, still presenting themselves as a married couple. From Shannon's perspective, nothing had changed. Chris, however, was living two separate lives. In one, he was the father playing with his daughters, the husband appearing quietly in Shannon's social media posts, the man smiling at family gatherings. In the other, he was secretly planning a new future, one that excluded his wife, his children, and the unborn son they were expecting in just a few months. And NK had no idea. After everything came to light, investigators examined NK's phone. They reviewed her internet searches, and what they found raised serious concerns. 3 weeks before Shannon disappeared, NK searched online for how to prepare for a relationship with a married man. She repeatedly searched Shannon's name, viewed her Facebook profile, and watched her videos. She also searched, "This is documented," phrases about a man whose wife goes missing while he's in a relationship. What makes this chilling is that these searches occurred before Shannon vanished. Let that sink in. NK later told police that Chris had told her she was his soulmate, that he had never felt this way before, that he had finally found the person he was meant to be with. Maybe she believed him. Maybe he believed it too. But believing something doesn't make it true. And what Chris was about to do cannot be justified. There is no explanation that makes sense. No rationale that softens what followed. In just a matter of weeks, the life Shannon had been sharing online was about to end in the most horrific way. August 13, 2018. Remember that date, because everything changed. Shannon had been in Arizona for a Thrive business trip. After several days away, she returned home late on the night of August 12. A friend dropped her off at 1:48 a.m. We know the exact time because a security camera captured it. Shannon walks up to the front door, pulling her suitcase behind her. She's exhausted, but relieved to be home. She unlocks the door and steps inside. It's the last time anyone sees her alive. Now, pay close attention to what happens next, because the timeline matters. At 1:48 a.m., Shannon enters the house. At 5:27 a.m., Chris's truck pulls out of the alley behind the home. This is confirmed by a neighbor's security camera. So what happened between 1:48 a.m. and 5:27 a.m.? Just 111 minutes. That was the window. And within that window, everything fell apart.
I wake up every morning just crying, thinking this is not going to be what's going to happen every single day. It's just so hard to get through it. I just don't know how to get through it.
Tell me about his childhood. Did he play sports? Was he in scouts? What kinds of things did
Yes,
he
he
do?
played sports.
He played sports from the time he was 5 years old up until he was 17. And he was in basketball, he was in baseball, he was in football, and loved NASCAR. He and his dad went to the NASCAR races all the time. Loved sports, and he was a good kid. Had two best friends, and that's who he grew up with, and still are friends with them today. And there's nothing that would have predicted any of this could have ever happened.
Yeah.
Nothing in his childhood at all. I would have never in a million years thought something like this could happen to him at all.
You didn't see things like him getting into fights? Or...
No fighting. He was quiet, and he got along with people, and he didn't start anything, and he was a perfect teenager, tell you the truth. He did not even rebel. He wanted to go to NASCAR Tech. We made that possible for him.
What did he do after he finished school?
He worked at the dealership as a service technician and was making good money and loved it. He bought a toolbox, and he started buying his tools, and enjoyed it. He was doing well.
When and where did he meet Shanann?
They met, and he liked her, she liked him, but it didn't, I don't think that was love at first sight or anything. They took a little while and I guess got to know each other and, dated. It was always a little strange that she always said a lot of things about Chris in front of me that I didn't like. Like, this isn't the kind of person I would date. He doesn't know how to do this, or he doesn't know how to do that. He looks like a skater boy. Look at his hair. Look how much stuff he puts on his hair. It was just on and on and on, and I just got a bad feeling.
And they got married in 2012. Did they get married in North Carolina?
They did. Mm-hmm.
How was that?
We didn't attend.
Really?
Mm-mm. We didn't attend because Shanann and I just couldn't get along, and I didn't like the way she treated him.
What do you know about their marriage and their issues?
Oh, very little, very little. You can only observe. I could only observe what I saw when I was around them. Christopher always seemed anxious, and he when she needed something, he would run. He wouldn't walk, he would run, he would get it. He just always seemed to be right there at her beck and call.
And did that seem odd to you? Or?
Very odd. It was very odd. He just seemed nervous.
So how much did you see them over these last 6 years?
Probably twice a year. We would go up there.
Did you stay with them, or?
Yeah, we would stay with them, and stay a week, and then come back home.
Tell me about Bella and Celeste.
Oh, Bella was just like Chris, just like him, shy, cautious, conservative. Cece was a ball of fire. She was fearless, completely fearless. She just loved to run. So they were wonderful. It breaks my heart to know that they're not here. They were beautiful children, beautiful children.
What did they call you?
Mimi.
Mimi? And how about Ronnie? What did they call?
Papa.
Do you think Chris loves Shanann?
Oh God, he loved her. Yes, I believe he loved her at first. I believe he did. But I think as the years went on, I think it just being in that kind of a relationship, which the social worker even said that marriage should have ended a long time ago.
Shanann's pregnancy, and what did Chris tell you about that? Was he excited?
No, I don't think he was. I think it was a shock to him. And he said that they have been talking about divorce, that they are not compatible anymore, and he was not happy anymore. And I finally thought, he's finally seen the light.
And I take it Chris had never been in trouble with the law?
Never. He's got one speeding ticket and didn't even know about that.
Tell me what happened when they were reported missing. What did you find out? How did you find out? Who told you?
I think Ronnie called me. Ronnie called me and said that they're missing, and I thought, I don't believe it. I didn't believe they were missing. I believed that she was going to punish Chris. She was just going to punish him, take the girls, and just punish him. I had no idea of anything else. Christopher called and said, Mom, they're searching the house. I said, okay, that's fine. I mean, and I still was not worried. I was not worried. I just thought Shanann had run off with girls.
So walk me through the sequence of events over the next few days. Did you and your husband travel to Colorado?
Ronnie did.
Okay.
Ronnie did. And I mean, Christopher let everybody come in. Her phone is there. Her purse is there. Everything is there. But there's no kids and there's no Shanann. And I was not worried. I thought, she has just gone off and I'm going to punish you for this and you can worry about me. But when Christopher called us and he said, I said, do you want us to come down now? He said, tell Dad I need him. Tell Dad I need him to come down. I said, what about me? He said, no, Mom, just stay. Just send Dad. And he picked him up at the airport and they drove to the police station. And Chris still didn't say anything to him. Nothing. He had already been interrogated 7 hours prior to that. He had already let the police go into his home, search everything. He was going in for another interrogation. The next thing, after 5 hours, they called Ronnie and said that your son wants to talk to you before he tells us anything. And that's when Christopher broke down and cried and said, I'm sorry, Dad. He said, I went into a rage and I killed her after she killed Cece and Bella. And he found out where he is and then they wouldn't let him see him. He couldn't see him. And so he was going back to the airport when his public defender called him and told him to come back. And that's when Ronnie met his public defender. And so talked to her for a while, and they kept in touch with us and let us know what's going on.
And then what was the next update that you got? Was it?
The next update I got was Ronnie called Jamie and told them they found their bodies. And they rushed over here. Nobody told me anything until they walked through the door. And they told me what happened, and I just fell to the floor. I just fell to the floor. It was unbelievable. And it's been unbelievable ever since. And
what did his attorneys tell you about contact with him, starting with his
none.
arrest?
No contact. Everything is recorded. No contact. No letter writing. I didn't see the harm in the letters. Hi son, love you, keep fighting. We are here to support you. What is wrong with that? What can the DA do about letters like this? Why couldn't we just write him a letter? We did what we were told to do. When they called us to tell us that Chris was thinking of a plea, that he wanted to speak to us about it. And when we got down there, it was a lie. They wouldn't let us talk to him about anything. And then we had to talk to him through a screen and a phone. And he just looked, he was crying. I mean, he wasn't crying. You could see the movement in his mouth that when I talked about Bella and I talked about Cece and the memorial service that we had for them. And he asked what pictures did we use, and what was the song. You can see how he was trying to hold back tears.
What day was that? Do you remember?
Well, we flew in on that Monday. We flew in on Monday, and we saw him Monday night, and then the plea deal was on Tuesday.
So Monday night was when you wanted to talk to him about
it? Yes, and we weren't allowed. And it would have helped us so much to be able to talk to him. I wouldn't have to go through all this now. Everything just seems to be shrouded in secrecy. And just tell us what is going on. Let us ask Chris if it's okay if you talk to us. I just don't like the way it was handled from the very beginning. I don't like the way it was handled. I want to save your life, that's all. We're just here, we're going to save his life. We want him to get life in prison. It was like they already knew he was guilty. And this was the end of it.